Hello. In this poem, we will study the poem Birches line by line. I've already made a video in which I've explained the paraphrase of this poem. I would request you to watch that video first and then watch this video. Otherwise, you will not understand it. So, the poem Birches by Robert Frost. When I see birches bend to left and right across the line of straighter, darker trees, I like to think some boys has been swinging them. But swinging does not bend them to stay as ice storm do. So the very first line Robert Frost says that when he crosses his village, he sees that the tree birches, some are bending right, some are bending left. Across the straighter, darker trees. So he says that there are contrast of trees, some of them are darker and some of them are not so dark. So he can see the contrast between both kinds of trees which are bending. I like to think some boys has been swinging them, but swinging does not bend them as ice storm do. So narrator wants to visualize, which is not the truth, that this tree has been bent because the boy has been bending on it. But the tree is actually bent by the ice storm. So the trees are bent by ice storm, and the trees can also be bent by the boys, but the bending done by the ice storm is very permanent, is very long lasting. But the bending done by the boys is very temporary. Often you must have seen loaded with ice on a sunny winter morning after the rain. So narrator is giving us a visual of New England, that is in America, Boston. So it's a village where Robert Frost used to live. So he says you might have seen in one of the villages of America that after the snowfall, after the rainfall and snowfall, the next morning when you will see the trunk of the tree, it is loaded with lots of ice. They click themselves as the breeze rises and turn many colored as the steer cracks, grazes the enamel. So here the author says that one branch of the tree clicks the another branch of the tree. One branch of the tree clicks the another branch of the tree. One, suppose this is one branch, this is another branch, and they hit one another, and the snow breaks and falls, so it looks multicolored. As the steer crack means breaks, so the outer covering breaks, and it grazes the enamel. Enamel means the hard covering of the snow, so it breaks. So here the author is saying that when the snow falls and the tree is covered with snow, after the snow, next morning, when the branches hit one another because of the breeze, because of the wind, the snow falls and breaks into many pieces, and it looks multicolored. So the steer cracks, the outer covering, the enamel breaks, and soon the someone makes them crystal cell, shattering and avalanching on the snow crust. So author is saying that there are many kinds of looks when you look at the broken branches, broken snow, and soon the sun warmth makes them crystal cell. When the sun rise, falls on the snow, and it looks like a crystal cell, and then it breaks down and avalanching on the snow crust. There is already snow on the ground, and the snow falls on it, and it makes a crust. It makes a round shape because of the snow falling. It becomes a mold. Such heap of broken glass to sweep away, you would think the inner dome of heaven had fallen. So author says that when the snow falls, गुम्बद जैसा जो स्नो का स्ट्रक्चर है वो गिर जाता है, तो ऐसा लगता है कि द डोम ऑफ हेवन मीन्स द डोम ऑफ स्काई or a religious place has fallen. So author is comparing the breaking of the snow then falling on the ground with the breaking of a dome. Thereby he is trying to signify कि snow जो गिरता है वो बहुत significant. So the breaking of the snow is very significant. They are dragged to the snow, and the branches are dragged down by the load of the snow. They seem not to break. मतलब ये branches the tree ऐसे झुक जाता है लेकिन टूटता नहीं है. So once they're bored for long, they can never put themselves straight. So एक बार ये branches जो है ये झुक जाता है तो फिर ये straight नहीं हो पाता है. You see their trunks arching in the wood and trailing the leaves like a girl on hand and knees is bowing the head. So narrator says you will see the branches bending down. It is like a girl who has put her hair in front of her hand, in front of her head to make it dry. So there is a comparison of the tree with the branches trailing down leaves with a woman who has made her hair in front to dry it in the sun. So वो trunk of the tree जो झुक चुके हैं उससे कंपेयर किया जा रहा है एक औरत के बाल को जो सुखाने के लिए सामने ऐसे निकाली हुई है अपने बाल को over the head to dry in the sun. So the birches tree which are bent is compared to the hair of a woman which she has put in the sun to dry. इसे करके बाल सुखाने के लिए लड़की रखी है उससे कंपेयर किया जा रहा है birches tree के bending of the branch को. I was going to say when truth broken, but before their heads under dry in the sun, I was going to say that I was going to say how this branch has been bent, but then truth broken. मतलब सच्चाई जबरदस्ती नैरेटर के पास चला आया. With the matter of fact about the ice storm, I would prefer to have some boy bend. So narrator wanted to say that the trunk of the tree is bent by the boy, but narrator is met to realize by nature. उसको याद आता है कि नहीं. The tree is not bent by the boy. The tree is bent by the snow. I would prefer to have some boy bend it as he went out to fetch the cow. वो कोई बकरी चराने वाला गाय चराने वाला सिफर्ड कोई गया होगा तो वो उसको बेंड किया होगा. But the fact is the tree is bent by the snow. So here is the village game of those boys who used to live in those days in the villages of America. And Robert Frost was also a villager. So he is very nostalgic when he is describing it. So he says, as there was a boy, there used to be boys who used to go to bring their cows. Some boy too far away to learn baseball. So people who live in the cities, they have all sophisticated games like baseball, but people who live in villages, they have no baseball. So they are all alone by themselves. Summer or winter, they could only play this game. So they have no other game to play apart from swinging on the branches of the tree. So summer or winter, they are all alone. Since they are alone and they keep on hanging from the branch of the tree, this is the only game they know. One by one, he subdued his father trees by riding them down over and over again. So narrator says, पहले वो एक tree को ऐसे bend करता है, then he bends another tree, then he bends another tree. He keeps on bending one tree after another until the stiffness, the toughness, the hardness of the branch is gone. And then narrator compares this boy who keeps on climbing one tree to another, to the third, to the fourth, to a king who keeps on conquering one kingdom to another. So bending of the tree is compared to, the bending of the tree by the boy is compared to a king who is conquering one kingdom after another. He learned all their words to learn about not launching too soon so as not to carry the tree away clear to the ground. So this is the trunk of the tree. So the boy has learned the art not to bend it so much that it breaks, or not to take it so away so that the branch is taken out of the roots. So this boy has learned the art of not bending it too soon and not taking it away from the root of the tree. He kept his poison's balance on the top. माने ये यहाँ जाके balance करता है. Climbing carefully with the same pain, you fill up the cup till the brim. So when you fill up a cup till the brim, इसको बोलते हैं cup का ये side को brim, and then it comes up to here, then you let it overflow. Similarly, the boy keeps on climbing on the branch till the top, and then he swings from there. So this boy climbing on the branch of the tree and then swinging is compared to filling up the cup till the brim and then letting it flow. So narrator is saying, with the same pain, with the same focus, you fill up the cup up to the brim, and then above the brim, Then he flunks toward this feast first, and then with a swish kicking the ground. So the boy who falls from the ground falls from the trunk of the tree to the ground. So first he makes his leg like this, and then he goes down, and then with a swish sound, kicking his way down to the ground, he falls on the ground. Narrator says, I was once myself a swinger of this tree. So narrator, when he was a small boy living in that villages, he was also a small boy hanging from the branches of the tree. He was also a swinger of the tree called Birches. So I dream of going back to be once more the swinger of this Birches tree. So narrator once more wants to become a small boy who is hanging from this Birches tree. Why? It is when I am wary of the consideration. Consideration means the challenges of life, the problem, the pain. So narrator is saying because of this pain, because of these adversities of life, he is now very tired of this life, very frustrated with this life. So he says, okay, now when I'm so tired, so frustrated, I don't want to be an adult anymore. I want to become a child once more. Because life has become a pathless wood, means life is compared to, according to Robert Frost, a jungle जिसके निकलने का कोई रास्ता नहीं है. And when your face burns and tickles with cow है, चारों तरफ वो मकड़ी का जाल है, और branches the tree has, some of them are broken, and one eye is weeping, and then the branches is broken, and one twig of the branch enters in your eyes. I'd like to get away from the earth a while and then come back over it. The narrator wants to say कि दुनिया के झमेले, एडवर्सिटीज, प्रॉब्लम, चैलेंजेस, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज से ये थोड़ी देर के लिए दूर जाना चाहता है, थोड़ी देर के लिए दूर जाना चाहता है. And then he wants to come back again with new, renewed energy. May no fate willingly misunderstand me and half grant me the wish that and snatch me away from the earth. So narrator says it's not that I want to live permanently into the world of fantasy and imagination. And narrator says, okay, Robert Frost, you will always live in imagination. You will never come back to the world of reality. Narrator says, no, luck, destiny should not misunderstand me. It is not that I want to live in the world of fantasy. It is not that I want to live in the world of make-believe and imagination. I want to return back to the earth. I want to return back to the world of imagination. Because earth is a place for love. In the world of imagination, you can't love and be loved by people. So narrator says, I want to come back to the earth because earth is a place for love. I don't know where it is likely to go better. So narrator says earth is the best place because this is the place where you can love and be loved by others. Narrator says, I want to go on climbing the birches tree like a boy. And then I want to climb back once more. So he wants to see the harsh realities of the ground and wants to again see the height of imagination. So narrator wants to experience both the figments of imagination and the pain of reality. When the pain of reality becomes too much, he wants to go back into the figment of imagination. So he wants to have a balance between reality and imagination. So he says, I would like to go back climbing the branch of the tree, birch tree, and then I want to keep on climbing towards the heaven, towards sky, till the tree could not bear the child anymore, and then it will drop down on the ground. So narrator wants to climb on the branch of the tree, the snow-covered trunk of the tree, towards heaven, towards sky, till the tree cannot bear the narrator anymore. But did it stop? This the top will be dipped, and then he will fall down again on the earth. A perfect symbolic interpretation that he wants to be in touch with the ground and also wants to touch the heaven. There's the word heaven. So he wants to experience the earth and heaven both, reality and fantasy both. But the tree will be dipped to the ground and he will fall. That would be both going up and going down. So he wants to experience both going up and going down. One would do worse than to be a swinger of birches tree. So narrator says, okay, this is a better fantasy than all other wars fantasy. So he says this is one of the best things, according to Robert Frost, that one can go back into the world of imagination, into the world of fantasy, into the world of make-believe, when he cannot handle the realities of life. So in this poem, Robert Frost, through the example of birches tree, is talking about the need of balance between reality and imagination, the need between fantasy and realism, and so many other things. So if you have liked my video and if you got any benefit out of it, please do share it with people who might need it. And if you have any question, please write it in the comment box. Thank you for watching the video.